Well, hi guys and gals, it's me George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. And I'm up in my carport today because I'm working on the four-wheeler again. And as you can see, I have some brand new chain that I'm getting ready to put on it. The original chain that was on it had a few kinks in it and it was stretched out pretty well, and I couldn't get any more adjustment on it. So I thought I might give you a few pointers here along the way. The first thing you got to do is there are 4 bolts that you have to loosen up. One is that one right there, which is on the adjuster on the right side. And there's another one over here on the adjuster on that side. That's the left side. That's under the bottom. And on mine has this trailer hitch attachment, so you have to loosen up at least one of the bolts. Most of my bolts were frozen, but I was able to get one loosened up enough so that we can rotate the axle shaft, because that's actually what you end up doing. There are 2 more bolts that you have to loosen. One right there on the top side and another one over here on the opposite top side. And on mine they also happen to be the attachment points at the top for my trailer hitch attachment. So whether you have the trailer hitch attachment or not, you still got to loosen up those bolts. You don't want to take them off because that's all that holds your axle in place. Now the thing you need to know is that the ones on the bottom actually go into this slot. You see that slot right in there? And you can see that I have mine, my adjuster slid back sufficiently, so I hope I don't need to go back too far more to attach my new chain. The deal is you can't just loosen up these bolts and twist the axle. It's not that simple. But thankfully what they have done is they have put a nut on the back side of the adjuster right here, see that? So that you can actually crank your adjuster enough to keep rotating the axle back towards the front. Let me get my chain put on, and for me this is a Honda 200SX 4-track, and we have this sprocket down here. This is our front sprocket. I need to do a little cleaning around it, because one thing you'll find that these things do pick up leaves and stuff, even with the cover in place, which I took off. And I just noticed something. Look at that. My sprocket is loose, so I need to tighten those bolts up. Good thing we were checking it, hey? Okay, now you can see I have taken my sprocket off and cleaned it, and I replaced the retainer ring with a new one that I already had. Didn't realize I had it. Now I was thinking I had bought sprockets like this to use on the Goofy cart before and welded hubs on them, and it turns out they are. So I had this new retainer ring and I had new bolts, and by doing that, replacing that, now my sprocket is nice and tight on there. But if you'll notice, you look carefully, those teeth are leaning towards the left, and they were leaning towards the right when I took it off. I have turned the sprocket around so that it will push against it in the opposite direction. I'm going to replace the sprocket anyway, but in the meantime, so I can keep using the four-wheeler, I have turned it around, and thereby we won't have the tendency for the chain to want to slip off. Okay, so we want to keep adjusting the back side to bring this out here, and I'm going to bring it all the way out to my nut. I've got my nut set all the way at the end here of my adjusting unit, And one of the things I did is I took a 12mm wrench, that's what it uses on here, and I cut the end off so that I have room to swing in between. Full-length wrench, you'll have to keep flipping it around and you won't have the ability to get a full swing on it. You'll be able to tell when there's pressure on it. See, now it's not bouncing around. So I'm going to keep adjusting this back. And how you can tell the progress you're making is by looking at your chain. See how much my chain is sagging? It was tight a moment ago. And I'm going to keep adjusting it back. I've actually already pulled the chain back a notch. I'm going to have to take a couple of links off because they give it to you longer than you need when you're replacing it. Okay, well, you can see, woohoo! Acorns are still falling. You can see how much sag I have in the chain. So I'm going to pull this back, and I think we could probably get one more notch out of it. Let's see. Not quite. What I'm going to do, there, that's what I can get. And if I can't really turn my wheels because I have it up on a jack here, a lawnmower jack. But you can see now that I need to take off. I'm going to have, the way we got it now, it would be a half a link in there, and I can't have a half a link in there. I have to have a full link like that so that my master link will go between these two. So I'm going to cut this one off. I'll grind these off and take off 1, 2, 3 links. Okay, now we have our chain cut to length and we've got it fed back in. And we're going to take our master link and slide it in from the inside to the outside like that. You got 3 pieces to your master link. And you have this part here that slides on. And once you get that part slid on, now you want to put your keeper on there. Now the important thing to remember is the direction of your chain. You don't want the open end facing the direction you're going most of the time. So you're going to put the closed end on, and you got to get this on here like that. And then you're just going to take your pliers and hook it over the pin and the end of your keeper and snap it in place like that. And that's all there is to it. Now the next thing is, you can see that we have a lot of slack in our chain. So now we got to adjust our slack up. So we're going to go back down underneath, down to our adjuster down there. And we're going to loosen up the back side so that we can turn this in, and that will pull our axle, rotate it back and up. And we want to get it until we have about a ½ an inch of play. So I'll tighten it up just like this. Got to make sure your back side is loose, and I'll do that. I'll back it down in quite a ways, and then we'll tighten it on the outside until we get our slack out of our chain. Now you see the slack in our chain down in here. We got a lot, but you keep an eye down here. I'm going to tighten this up, and at the same time you watch our chain get tightened. do both sides. Now I think we still got too much slop in there, so I've got to back it off a little bit on the inside again, and then we'll tighten it down some more. Okay, we're almost there. A little more adjustment down below here. You can see the chain move every time I make a turn on the nut. Let's see what we got here now. I think that's pretty good right there. Yes, sir. So I'll need to tighten the inside of the brake side so that it matches with the sprocket side. And then we'll tighten down the outside nuts, which are effectively just our lock nuts. There, that's snug against there. And that's snug against there. And we'll take our ratchet. And we'll tighten them down. And that's where we're going to stay. About a 1/2 inch deflection there, up and down. And you saw that one point where it jumped. That's because this axle all of a sudden released. You got to remember, you got pressure from your shock absorber down on it. So that's working against you a little bit. So now all I got to do is tighten back up my 4 bolts, top and bottom, and tighten up my U-bolts for my trailer hitch. Put the cover on the front, and we're ready to take it for a road test. Okay, let's see how it started. This is a cold start. It hasn't been started for a week. Oh, that's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Yep. Now we'll put the brake on. Pop it into gear. And I'm going to hold you with my left hand. Work the throttle with the right. We ain't going to go fast because all I can do is hold the camera. Oh, there's the rooters. They're everywhere. This is our racetrack we're going down. See, the trees are marked so you can find out where to go. And there's 2 markings there. Come down this way, and there's another arrow there. And we got stuff here so nobody tries to cut across corners. And we got to go up through here between these 2 trees. There's another marker there. Another one over there. You got branches down here so you can't cut across. You got to come up through here now. And then we got an arrow there. And the last arrow is there. Woohoo! And this is the last marker. That's a highway marker, actually. There we go. Yee-haw! Right up, cowboy. And we got to pull the brake back. And our hydraulic brakes are working just dandy. We'll downshift it one. We'll take you back. Take it back into the car for where we started. course, to finish the course, you actually turn and go back down toward there. But I got to come back in here and clean up my mess. And I got to move that stuff out of the way. I got to bring my truck back inside. Going to be replacing the distributor in it. Still chasing the gremlins in my electrical system, keeping it from starting and running. Till next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, saying thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, thumbs up, sharing, all them good things. And you know what Jesus said? He said, "For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Do you have everlasting life? Think about it. Bye now.